Welcome guys. So today I'm going to take you through a dashboard report that I created entirely in Excel using Pivotcharts and Slicers. This is one of two methods in which you can use to create a dashboard report entirely in Excel. And the second method we'll cover in the next video. But this time around I want to show you how you can use slices and pivot charts to put this one together in a really simple fashion. Now the data behind this dashboard is essentially sat in a table, and the data itself is sourced from kaggle.com. So if you go to kaggle.com and then search under datasets, you want to search for average IQ. This is a public dataset which shows you average global IQ per country, as well as a few other stats. So here, this is the name of the dataset. And if you go to all the way down, you can see more information around the dataset, what fields it contains, things like average IQ, country. You've got literacy rates, Nobel Prizes, you've got the mean years of school, the population. So these are all fields we'll use to visualize in our data. So what we're going to do is click download, and that will download the data into a CSV file. I've already gone ahead and done that. So what we want to do is open the average IQ per country file. This is a CSV file. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to open it up in Microsoft Excel. And when you open it up, you'll be presented with something like this. So here you can see we've got a number of columns. You can see the data needs a bit of cleanup, so I'm just going to center the data real quick. I'm just going to remove this message, and then what I'm going to do is make a few changes here. I'm going to make the population into a number format like so, hide the decimal places, and we're good to go. We're good to go. So now what I'm going to do, and this is important, you're going to select the entire data set, and what you want to do first is insert a table. And in doing so, you notify Excel that what you're creating is a data structure. So this table by default is called table 1, and then what you want to do is to select the table, or anywhere in the table as such, and then insert and then select pivot table. The reason why you have to insert a table first is because Excel doesn't really know where your data set starts and where it ends. So by structuring it as a table, you'll be able to give Excel and give yourself better control over your data. So again, we're just going to select anywhere in the table now, which is table 1, click pivot table, and we're going to create a new pivot table on a new worksheet. Click OK to that. And this is where we can start to build together our dashboard report. So the first thing we want to do, I want to see a list of countries, and I want to see a list of countries by average IQ. And really I want to see, say, a top 10 for now. So what we can do is do ascending or descending, doesn't matter, but I want to sum it by average IQ. So I want to see the smartest countries at the top, and then what I want to do is actually I want to filter top 10. So I'm select top 10, and then this is where I can just go up a bit to get to 10 values, and now we've got our top 10. So now what we want to do is create a pivot chart off the back of this. So we go insert, and then we go pivot charts, and now we've been given it by default a bar chart. And now what we can do is we can format the bar chart. We go to design, and we can choose some designs. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and choose a design that I like right here. We're going to go with, let's go with this one right here. We're going to remove the legend. So here you can see our top 10 countries, starting with Japan, which has our highest average IQ, then Taiwan, then Singapore. And now what we're going to do is just give this a name, countries by IQ, countries ranked by IQ. And now what we're going to do is hide the pivot table. So this is a trick. What you want to do is hide the pivot table. I'm just going to select the pivot table, control and cut. And what you want to do is just move down somewhere where you can place a pivot table and out of view. So now I've put it somewhere in between row 57 and 69. Go back to the top, and you can see we're just left with our chart. So now what I'm going to do is expand this. I might actually change a format here real quick. We're going to change the data type. We're going to change it to a horizontal bar chart. And now we're going to go back into our design options and just structure this real quick. I'm just going to go to design, I'm going to go home real quick. I'm just going to change a font, make this a bit larger. You can do the same with the numbers and the values. You can even turn them, make them white just to help them stand out a bit more. And then what we're going to do is add what's now called a slicer. So what we want to enable is for people to be able to filter the countries that are in this list. The way you do that, you select the pivot table and then you go insert and then you go slicer. And that we want to do is select a slicer for our country. So just tick country and then OK. And now we've got our slicer for our chart right here. So if we go back to the top and bring the slicer with us, along with us, and then what we can do is just drag it down just to make some space. We're going to click this option here that allows you to select multiple options. What we're going to do is deselect everything, and we're going to slowly build up our options here in terms of what tables we want, in terms of what countries we want in the list. I'm select a random list of countries right here real quick until we've got about 10 values. Okay, that looks about right. And now what we're going to do is go on to our next component. Our next component is going to be a scorecard. Essentially, it's going to be a text block. So what we're going to have here is total countries, and then we're going to have a value right here. Now, the way we do this is what we do is we take our pivot table here. We want to copy paste it here, and now what we want to do is go into pivot tables and remove some of average IQ and instead put count of country, which is 11, and it's in row cell D58. So now what we want to do is equal D58. Now we've got our 11. So then what we're going to do is just make this a bit large, probably a bit too large, center the value. I'm just going to give it a bit of color. So what I'm going to do real quick is fill the back, fill it with a dark blue and with white text. And then we're going to make this also in a blue just to give it some color, make the text bold real quick. Oops, I'm just going to make this bold. And now we've got total countries as our marks card, and we can do the same. So we can, take both of these values, move down, put another value here, put another value here, and this one can change to average IQ, and this one we can change to total prizes, Nobel prizes. Now what we want to do is now set these to equal a new pivot table. So we copy this, paste into here, and what we're going to change this one to is instead of country, we're going to take average IQ and drop that here. And what we're going to do is now average this. So we want to right click, field settings, take average, and then click OK. And then we want to remove the decimal places. Average IQ is 79. So now what we're going to do is equals, and make sure you got the cell right. It's F7, it's in cell F58. So now we're just going to quickly change this to F58. Now we've got 79. And finally, Nobel prizes. We're going to do the same as we did before. Copy this pivot table, paste it here. And now what we're going to take is the prizes. And this is sum of Nobel prizes, which is 119 in cell H58. Now what we can do is equal H58. And now we have 119. I'm just going to give this some color. I'm going to change it to this one to a green. And this one's going to be an orange. And that just gives it some nice formatting. I'm just going to just rearrange that here. And the final element we want to create is a table. So this is how you create a table. So again, you want to copy paste your pivot tables that we were hiding near the bottom. And this time around, I'm going to paste it here, but this time we're going to add a mix of values. We're going to add some of average IQ. We're going to add literacy rate. We're going to add Nobel Prizes. We're going to add mean years of schooling, whatever it may be. And now you can see we're building up so a nice table right here. Now what we could do is copy paste this, but what we want to make it, what we really want to do is make it simple and quite simplistic. So what we're going to do right here is just do equals, and we're going to take the first cell here, which is J57, all the way down to J69. So we're going to write equals J57, and then we can drag this down until we get to grand total. Okay, and then we can drag this to the right. And now we can relabel this. So this one is sum of average IQ, so we can just call it average IQ. This was literacy rate. This one, count of prizes, Nobel Prizes, and years of schooling. Okay, and then all we want to do now is just drag these down because the formulas are still intact. I'll drag these across, shall we say. And now we've got our values looking up the pivot table that we have at the bottom. So what we can do is center this, and we can now insert a new table. Continue that. Then we want to give it some color. I'm just going to select a nice little blue here. And then what you can also do is you can actually add some conditional formatting. So right now I want to highlight, say, average IQ. Go into conditional formatting, color scales, and now we've got a conditional format across our full data range. May want to exclude grand total, so we just keep it to the countries in the selection. And now what we can make sure is, just to give it a bit more formatting, I'm going to remove all the grid lines. So we go to view, and this way we remove the grid lines. Now we can add, say, a title to our dashboard, call it global IQ dashboard. We can make this a bit bigger. Okay, then we can do is just remove two of these rows right here, just to help with the formatting. And then I'm going to give this some color. I'm just going to choose a green for now. Okay, and our dashboard's slowly coming to life. And now we're just going to delete this. Now the last thing we're going to do, we're going to zoom out a little bit just to give people a full view of the dashboard that we've created. So here you can see our countries ranked by IQ. We've got a table. And now the beauty of this slicer is we can then go into report connections and make sure we've selected all the other pivot tables, because in doing so, we can now add and remove countries. So here I can remove Germany, I can remove Georgia, I can remove Gambia, and I can say have France and Ethiopia instead. So you can see as you remove and add countries, these numbers are all changing. All elements. So you've got your chart here, you've got your table here, and you've even got these marks cards that are all changing as per the slicer. So now what I can do is save this. I could share it with my colleagues, my manager, and they'll be able to explore the data without having to look at a clunky large table. So this is how you produce a dashboard, guys, using nothing but pivot charts and pivot and slices. With a bit of formatting, you can bring this to life as I have done here. So guys, hope you like this one. I do have another video coming up soon. In the next video, we're going to repeat the same. We'll use a different data set this time. But what we will do is we will use, instead of using pivot charts and slices, we're going to use count if formulas and sum if formulas to achieve a very similar result. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.